Hello there, and welcome to our home. We're glad you finally stopped by to visit our little cabin in the woods. It's been a while we wanted to make a tour for you, and even though it isn't completely finished, we think it's time to properly present the biggest of our work in progress. We borrowed this log building technique to our Scandinavian brothers and sisters who lived in these houses for centuries in as cold a climate as we have here. The house keeps very warm in the winter and cool in the summer. The main entrance is on the side of the cabin, where the future greenhouse will be. It faces the bathroom space and opens to the kitchen on the left. We kept the entrance very minimal, and Rémi made this shoe rack that frees the carpet from muddy boots. The main feature of that space is that our 3-dog fits on the carpet. There we have the kitchen, which to me is the heart of every home. We designed the place with both the desire to make it space efficient, yet highly functional as we grow and transform a lot of our food. We decided to have a lot of kitchenware on display so it is easy to grab as I cook and also saves tons of storage space. The pantry is my favorite part of the kitchen. There is something about it that makes me feel like a witch brewing potions when I grab a jar full of a mysterious ingredient. I'm the only one who knows the content of all the jars. We do like hanging our pots instead of keeping them in cupboards, and we simply use hooks to do so. The kitchen is part of the main living space, which we made all open since our house is quite small. It's still big enough for me to hang my hammock though, which I love, and Rémi doesn't so much as it takes up all the living room when I use it. You might have noticed that we lack the finishing around most of our windows. The reason being that the logs needs up to 5 years to fully dry and shrink to their final size, and since then the house does lower by around 6 inches. We will be able to make the final touches when the house has gone through this curing process. The living room is also quite minimal. We don't own a television and the couch faces a window wall, so we always have nature to watch. I also use this cedar wall to hang finished paintings that are waiting to be sent to their final homes. I will now shamelessly plug myself in and let you know that the link to my website is down in the description below this video. Now back to the kitchen after a quick nap. Rémi is showing you the cupboards where we keep kitchenwares and food we don't want on display, such as empty jars, mixing bowls, Tupperwares, canned goods, and snacks. We plan on building drawers inside eventually, as we find it could get messy over time and we don't tend to reach for the things that are stored in the back of those shelves. The wood stove is also placed in the kitchen area, and I use it quite frequently in the winter to cook when there's already a fire going to heat the cabin. On top of the stove, Rémi once again worked his magic and came up with this drying rack that is so practical. He crafted this by using old train track nails that he welded to metal pipes. And here's the front porch that is mainly used as a pet lounge and is also where we keep our firewood hidden in this big chest. I don't pull bunnies out of hats, but I do pull one out of a bench sometimes. You might have guessed it by now. It's another one of Rémi's clever ideas. Now on to the bathroom. We don't spend too much time in there, so we opted for a very compact size bathroom. Behind the curtain, we have our composting toilet that we tuck away when not in use. We aren't too preoccupied with privacy in this house, but we still put up a curtain, mainly for visitors. This cupboard is hiding our propane water heater as well as our family cloths. The compartment underneath is where we keep sawdust, which we use to cover the content of the toilet. It totally prevents any unwanted odors. There we have this antique cast iron tub we found used on Facebook and turned it into a shower using pipes and industrial valves. The front part of the bathroom is where we have our small washing machine topped with storage for towels and rags. We also have this antique sink that we haven't found a faucet for just yet, but will be functional at one point. Underneath the counter is our water pump and tank. We take our fresh water from a well. Now let's go and visit the second floor, which is the bedroom's loft. We decided to make Japanese alternating stairs to keep the space open since the cabin is quite small. When you climb up the stairs, you find this little balcony where we keep books, and that leads to my daughter Aurélie's bedroom on the left and our bedroom right next to it. I love the simplicity of our bedroom, and yet we kept functionality in mind by adding drawers underneath the bed that contains all of our clothes and bed sheets. I also have this very old sewing machine that I use to make some of my own clothes. In my 7-year-old daughter's bedroom, we have definitely less of a minimalist vibe. Let's say she's more of a collector. We made her a little loft bed so she has more space in the room to keep all sorts of things that brings her joy. Now it's time to climb up to the third floor, which is my absolute favorite place in the cabin and which I spend most of my time actually. Welcome to my workspace, which also doubles up sometimes as a spare bedroom for friends. Here I have everything I need for painting and also folding tables that enables me to adapt the room to all my creative needs. Next to my beloved spinning wheel is a little sink where I can wash my brushes. This is one feature that saves me a lot of climbing throughout the day. The other, darker side of the studio is used to keep boring but necessary items like printer and files. This drawer holds all of my powder pigments and other art witch materials. If I'm being completely honest, I can be quite a messy artist, so having a place for everything is key to keep the studio fairly organized. So that is what concludes this little tour of our home. It measures 17 by 20 feet, which makes it fall under the square footage of a tiny house. I'm really happy about what we have done here so far to make the most out of the space, but as you could see, we still have many little details to work on. The adventure still continues.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais? T'es doux? Assis.
Bye. Thank you for spending this time with us. I hope you enjoyed your little visit, and from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all a wonderful week.